welcome to my next lesson on chords. So I'm finally making it to chords now, and this is something that people always seem to want to learn because we may have a song you want to learn, a piece you want to learn that's simple enough and has a chord progression attached to it. So I'm going to start by talking about what chords are and the primary chords in the easiest key. I'm going to start there. So a chord is made up of 3 notes. You have to have at least 3 notes to make up a chord. So our first chord we need to learn is the C major chord. C major, which you will see here. This is made up of the notes C, E, and G. And we're going to play those with fingers 1, 3, and 5 in both hands. Now I know it's going to be tempting to play it with different fingers. Something really weird. Try to use 1, 3, and 5. Or don't try, just do. Use fingers 1, 3, and 5. Got to strengthen all these fingers. And do this with both hands if you can. If you can't do it with both hands at the same time, pick one hand to start with, but then do this again and use the other hand. Always work out your weakest hand just as much as your strong hand, if not more. Okay, this is our first chord, C, E, G. This is a C major chord. Major chords are made up of specific notes. They're made up of something called a root, a third, and a fifth. Now, what does that mean? All right, so let's talk about what the root is. The root is going to be the name of the chord. In this case, C of C major is the root. The third, this is talking about intervals. So remember that class, a little bit of a class I taught about intervals? So the third is 1, 2, 3. And then the fifth, it doesn't mean a fifth above here, it means a fifth above the root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's your C major chord. You can also think of it as this. There are 2 different thirds that are being used in a major chord. On the bottom, we have a major third. On the top, we have a minor third. Now, what does that mean? Let me kind of break it down into a beginner level here. A major third is made up of 4 half steps. Half steps meaning going from the note that you're on to the next nearest note. So let's count up between these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half steps from C to E. That creates a major third. From the E to the G is a minor third. You can guess how many half steps this is? 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 half steps. So 4 half steps between C and E, 3 half steps between E and G. Now, how is this helpful to you? When you're going to play a major chord in any other key or starting on any other note, having a different root, then you're going to use the same formula to find the chord. So let's say I wanted to create a chord on F. That's our next chord, by the way. We're going to do the same thing. Let's say you don't know the F major scale so that you can't do your third and fifth very easily. You can use this simple trick. 4 half steps, major third, 3 half steps, minor third, and you have your major chord. Now, here's the thing about this chord. If we're playing our primary chords in C major, we don't want to be jumping around like this. We're not going to do that. We want to try to keep it close. So we're going to do something called an inversion. Inversion means taking the notes and moving them around. Taking the bottom, putting it on the top, taking the top, putting it on the bottom. If I do this, I'm going to take the top note, a C, and put it on the bottom. It's still the same chord. As long as I have F, A, and C in the chord, it's an F major chord. F, A, C. So this is an inversion. In another class, I'm going to talk about what inversions are and the names of them. So, from C to F, C, F. Do this with both hands. If you can do it both hands together, even better. Now look at my fingering for my left hand here. What's different between my left and right hand? My left hand has second finger on the middle note for this F. This is because if the larger interval goes towards the pinky, the second finger plays the middle note. Kind of an easy trick to think of. So, next chord, G7. A G7 is normally a 4-note chord, but in this case, we're going to take out a note and we're going to invert it and we're going to move it to a different spot. I'm just going to show you where the spot is right now. We're not going to go into the 7th chords right now. I'll do that in another episode. We're going to have B on the bottom, F in the middle, G on top, B, F, G. That's a G7. So, practice going from C to G7. Once you can do that with either of your hands, then start doing all three. C, F, C, G7, C, F, C, G7. So let's look at it on the chart here. You see, you can use this to help you out, find all the notes in each of the chords. If I go to the F chord here, you can see it in both hands down here also. C, F, A. And then let me show you this one also. You can see B, F, G, B, F, G. These are called primary chords. The primary chords will be the most important chords in all keys. They won't be the same 3 notes, but they will be in the same order. And again, I'm going to talk about that in another lesson also when we start talking about position of chords within a key. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, as usual, leave me a comment in the box on the bottom for comments. And if you want to see more stuff, more specific information, just let me know and I will try to make a video on anything you ask for.